Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk about the damage and sustain changes on the Dragonhold PTS. I'm Alcast from alcasthq.com. Make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. Now, please keep in mind, this is still on the public test server, so it might get changed, and I'm pretty positive some things will change. Now, in this video, I want to mostly talk about why I don't like the sledgehammer approach that Sauce seems to really like. By sledgehammer, I mean just like completely smash everything into the ground, like 60-70% nerfs, instead of tweaking the numbers by like 10-20%. Yes, I do think we do have too much DPS and abilities, like dots do too much damage in the Scalebreaker DLC. Like 100k DPS is way out of proportion for most content. 70k, 60k would be more than enough for like all content in the game, except maybe like getting Godslayer, but that's another topic. Now, what I want Sauce to understand is, and like a lot of people don't understand this roller coaster theme. In the previous patch in Scalebreaker, they buffed the dots by like 50% and they clearly overperform. Everybody agrees on that. So it would be nice to see tweaks in the Dragonhold PTS, so tune them down by maybe 20-25% or tops 30%, but not take the sledgehammer and nerf it down by 60-70%. That's not the right approach, and I'm not sure when they will learn that. Since Elsweyr, there is a new combat team and they have their ability audit system or whatever you want to call it. Basically, they take all the skills and they standardize them. So like rending slashes is a single target damage over time effect. So it goes into a specific category and it should do this amount of damage. That's what they did in like the Scalebreaker DLC with most of the dots. So soul splitting, Trap got very powerful. We have like Entropy from the Mage skill that got very powerful, and so on. And that's totally fine. If they think that's the best approach how to balance the game, I'm fine with that. Now, what I and a lot of people don't understand is how do they miss the mark by so much that they have to nerf the abilities by 70%. Now, obviously, they did not miss the mark by that much, because 70% nerf is too much now. So I think it would be fine if they tune the skills down by like 20%. And then if it's still too much, if people still think, well, okay, the dots do a little bit less damage in the Dragonhold PTS, it's still a little too much, okay. You go update 25, you tweak them again by like 10%, maybe 15% max. And that's how you should approach it. That's tweaking. That's not the sledgehammer approach. Because if you take the sledgehammer, nobody understands what you're doing. Probably not even the combat dev team. That's a problem, and it just confuses people. Obviously, people are also not happy because they have to completely redo their builds every 3 months. Now, I will update all the builds on the website on day 1. So we have a lot of testing to do. I personally give Sauce till the next chapter, so I think there will be continuously like a roller coaster party till the next chapter. And from the next chapter on, most of the stuff should be rebalanced or whatever you want to call it. And then from then on, I want them to only make smaller tweaks, smaller changes throughout the patches. Then every year or 2 years, make bigger changes. Like other MMOs do it. If other MMOs can do it, they can also do it. But again, it will take them time. I guess it's fine like this. We need to give them feedback that we're not happy with this approach, and it's not necessary. Like I mentioned, they didn't miss the mark by 70%. It just looks weird that they want to nerf them by so much, because I think 20 or 30% would be more than enough. Looking at this, so that's what we had last patch. 100k, 101, 102, 103k, whatever. And the same build, exact same build, 72k this patch. That's with the Maelstrom dual wield. So what I always do on the PTS, I take the exact same build and see how much damage it does compared to the previous DLC. And here we lost like 30k DPS, so that's a huge chunk. like I mentioned, doesn't matter. It would be totally fine if there's 60k DPS. But the problem is, the build feels completely Dumbo because you just remove all the dots. And that's not a good approach. We have all these things. I don't use these abilities, they're just here to give me the passive 3% weapon damage. Same for this one, 3% overall damage increase. I only use Endless Hail on the back bar, and the only reason I use that is to get the 452 weapon damage. So I swap to the back bar every 14-15 seconds and that's it. Front bar, I use all the powerful abilities. So Blast Bones every third ability. So ability, Blast Bones, ability, Blast Bones. And all these other abilities are still strong. Dawnbreaker actually outperformed the Colossus by a little bit on a target dummy. In a trial group, the Colossus is obviously still better. So, when we are looking, and that's obviously a Dumbo Jumbo build. And I actually saw on the forum someone, Miseron, made a forum thread saying that he equipped the Maelstrom Inferno stuff on the back bar and he got the same DPS as with a Maelstrom bow on the back bar, for example. So it's like, yeah, great, cool. The poison injection, it does too little damage. It's not worth it anymore even using it. So that's why I don't have the Master's Bow. But it's not about the build. I just want to get the point across. Like the sledgehammer approach, it's not good. Now, that's one thing. So the Rota is completely different. Like just removed all the dots. When we look at dots, like abilities that do 2.6k, like everything below 3k is usually not worth running it unless it has like a secondary effect which is very powerful. Now what I don't understand, everybody at Sauce HQ seems to be fine that Relican does 10k DPS, which is completely broken. Now stamina has always been carried by DPS sets, but okay, whatever. Or by stamina sets, like Locastit's Relican, before it was Night Mother Thunderflame, and so on. So they tweak the numbers on these abilities, then the item team decides to nerf these and stamina will underperform again, so they will have to tweak the numbers again on these things. So if Sauce likes to touch the same stuff 2-3 times, then that's fine, but they already have a limited team size, which is not very big, so they have very limited resources to spend. And touching things 2 or 3 times, it's just so much wasted like resources that you could use somewhere else. So yeah, that's about this. Sustain is another problem. The drain is way higher now. Now, funnily enough, like I mentioned, the Maelstrom Inferno bar build on the back bar actually has pretty good sustain because you use the blockade of fire, it costs Magicka. Whereas the Endless Hail build actually has a little bit of sustain issues. And I don't think the sustain was really too easy in the previous patch, so I'm not sure why they really thought it would be necessary to increase the cost of certain abilities by so much. But yeah, we will see how it turns out. I think it's important to give feedback to them and see how and where this goes. So we can actually not get into a complete weird patch next time. I think they will tune down the nerfs a little bit. Like I said, 20-30% is probably more than enough. And it's not only a problem in PvE, it's also a problem in PvP. Because the dots deal so much less damage, they're most of the times just useless. And healing is still the same, so people just die like slower or not at all anymore because healing is so powerful. So it causes other problems too. A lot of people are asking Sauce to split the abilities into like PvE and PvP separately. Now I can tell you the reason why this one, it would make a lot of sense, but the reason why this doesn't happen is because they don't have the resources. So each skill has a base morph and like a base ability and 2 morphs. If you split this, it's 6 skills. So it would basically double their work, and they're still only the same small team. And that's probably the main reason why they're not going to do it. If they had like a 50 or a 20 man team working on combat changes, that would probably not be an issue. But that's not the truth. There's not a lot of people working on these changes. Like 2-3 people. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below what you actually think about these. Would you like them to see rather tweak numbers, even if it's over like small, like over several DLCs, rather than actually using the sledgehammer approach where it just confuses everyone? Not even I understand. I will update the builds on the website like always, so make sure to go check it out once the new DLC launches. It's in like probably 5 weeks, so it's long. It's a far way to go, so we have to do a lot of testing. Till then, you can watch a few other videos here. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.